the Harpes came over the mountains from Virginia to East Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky. They lived quietly amongst people for a short while, but seemed to find within their hearts an inclination to do worse. They committed their first murders over in the East Tennessee territory. And as folks began to identify who they were, not knowing them as the Harpes, they ran to the Cumberland Gap, the great way to Kentucky. As they went into that area, it was not long until they killed people on the Rockcastle River. They moved into the Cumberland County area. They moved into the Green River. They were committing murders as they went, ultimately going as far as Henderson, Kentucky and Cave and Rock, not leaving an area until they had committed murder. But they moved. They didn't stop. They continued moving from one place to another, staying in homes of people who would protect them. Over the period of 4 to 5 years, they killed upwards of 50 people, including infants. They had a very peculiar way of killing folks, tended to do it in a wilderness way, cut their throats, killed with tomahawks. They often would slit them open, fill them up with rocks, and sink them into the nearest water course so that they wouldn't be found for days. They traveled almost back and forth from East Tennessee all the way to Henderson, Kentucky and back on at least 3 occasions, often stopping at friends' houses along the way. It's important for us to know that the Harpes were known throughout this area, and they also knew the people who lived here. As folks were moving and migrating westward, the Harpes were traveling exactly where they went. They could not have done what they did without having, quote, accomplices in this area. Somebody who would welcome them and hide them and not turn them in. So as we look at the stories, it's important for us to realize these things require something larger. In fact, we believe that the person who ultimately killed and beheaded Big Harpe was an accomplice for many years.